It's the NHL's trainingcamp equivalent of being seated at the kids' table at a family holiday dinner. Yes, Mark Jankowski is still suiting up at the other end of the hall, lumped with the long shots and up-and-comers in what is usually the visitors' locker room, while the established veterans enjoy the comforts of the home headquarters at the Saddledome. More and more, though, the 23-year-old center is making a case that he deserves to eat with the adults, that he's ready to roll up his sleeves and dig into full-time duties with the Calgary Flames this season. There were signs Saturday that he is inching closer to that goal. "This is my second main camp around here, so I know a lot of the veteran guys, going out to dinner with them and hanging out and just feeling like one of the guys. You want to feel like you're included in stuff like that," Jankowski said after skating with the Sure Things in what seemed like a sneak preview of October and beyond. "That's huge when you're with that group and that group kind of accepts you and takes you in as one of them. Maybe it didn't feel that way last year. I still felt kind of like an outsider, hanging out with a lot of the other guys that were going to go back to Stockton. It feels a lot more comfortable with these guys this year. These guys are no dummies. They don't have to wait for the Flames' final roster reveal to figure out who will be joining the big league workforce, whether that's on opening night. In case you haven't marked your calendar, that's October 4 against the Edmonton Oilers at Rogers Place, or as one of the first callops. They're working. But they're watching too. They must be impressed with the lad wearing number 77 on his back. I think that's definitely part of it," Jankowski said, careful not to sound overconfident. "I mean, if they look at me on the ice and say, 'Wow, I think that guy can help us win,' then I think that's a huge positive step for me." The Flames had bad news Saturday morning for 7 hopefuls, reassigning wingers Austin Carroll and Andrew Mangiapane, defenseman Josh Healy, Oliver Killington, Adam Ellis-Matson and Colby Robak, and goalie of the future candidate Tyler Parsons to the American Hockey League's Stockton Heat. That leaves 40 bodies in camp, but the practice session splits provided more than just a subtle hint on who could be sticking around in Calgary and who might want to start searching rent.com for apartments in Stockton. Saturday's first ice time featured 14 forwards, 8 blue liners and 2 goalies. Jankowski was out there. So too were Johnny Gaudreau and Sean Monahan, Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk. So were Mark Giordano, Dougie Hamilton, TJ Brodie and Travis Hamonic. So were a long list of Mike Mickle, Mitchell Mitchell, Smith, Backlund, Frolic, Stone, and Furland. Flames head coach Glenn Gulutzan cautioned against anything conclusive, insisting a couple of legitimate candidates were shuffled to the second group simply because they wouldn't see enough work in a practice that was heavy on special teams, but it certainly looked like a big league bunch. The later session, meanwhile, included only 3 guys with 25-plus games of NHL know-how: Joseph Kramarasa, Luke Gazdic and Garnet Hathaway. "Definitely, that's a good feeling to be out with those guys," Jankowski said of Saturday's company. "I have to keep on improving and keep on showing well to stay with those guys." Obviously, you want to be in that group and ultimately be in that locker room at the end of camp. A first-round selection in the 2012 NHL Draft and an American Hockey League All-Star last winter in his first professional campaign, Jankowski has been the most impressive of the Flames' bubble boys this fall. He's scored 3 times in as many preseason showcases, including a third-period rip in Friday's 4-2 victory over the Arizona Coyotes. He had one dreadful night at the face-off dot, but it's been on the plus side of 50% on 2 others. He seems to really know how to use his 6'5", 210 pounds frame to his advantage to protect the puck. "I believe he can play at this level. Now, the next question becomes consistency," Gulutzan said after Saturday's practice. "Now, it's just keep pushing. It's an everyday league. He has great skill. There are a couple things in the defensive zone that I think he needs to speed up in his coverage. But he definitely has the ability, and he looks like an NHL player. It's just, as we go forward, you have to keep building on that." The Flames have 3 exhibition dates remaining before the opening night roster must be finalized, and as each organization whittles the one-ups, they'll be anxious to see how Jankowski performs against opponents that don't require a Google search. He's hungry for that opportunity. That's when you can really show your stuff and show you can play at this level and make an impact, Jankowski said.